Hello, everybody, and welcome to Episode 4 of the ButtonPress podcast. Today, I'm here with my buddy Zach.
What's up?
And today, we're going to be talking about collecting physical in both the video game world and everywhere else, because I know you collect all sorts of things.
Yeah.
But before we jump into that, how you been doing? Good?
Doing all right.
Last time you were on here, we talked a little bit about Borderlands 3, and you were playing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know since then you've said you've beaten it and did some of the DLCs.
Yeah.
Overall thoughts on the game?
Overall, it's fun. I mean, it's Borderlands. It's fun. It's definitely worse than the first two. Yeah. Overall, though, I had fun playing it.
What do you got out of 10?
I'm gonna say a 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10? Not
So
bad.
it's not terrible. I mean,
Yeah.
It's got some bugs. The story is not that great, but it was fun. The gameplay wise, it's fun.
I feel like people, when they rank things, like they see like 6 out of 10 and think it's like the worst thing ever. Like anything below like a 7 is just absolute trash, which I feel like that's just not true.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, the topic of today, is collecting physical. I'm someone who is super into collecting physical games. I know you collect a few things. What's kind of your big physical collection at the moment?
I'm trying to focus on music in a few different ways. So mainly I get vinyl records. I've been buying some cassettes lately as well. One thing I want to get into, or I'm starting to get into with music, is having a digital library. Because I want to move away from like using Spotify and streaming services. And also just like the digital space on the internet, it's so uncertain in the future. Like that stuff could be taken away from you at any moment.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm looking into getting an MP3 player. And having a digital library of music.
Like a digital library that you own. I guess that you own. Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
So I'm like, I think the main way to do that is Bandcamp. If you buy things physically on Bandcamp, you also get digital download.
Oh, that's nice.
And also CDs. I'm going like looking for CDs at thrift stores and ripping them.
Yeah, dude. I remember the days of like getting a CD, throwing it in the computer, like putting it on iTunes, and then putting it on like my iPod.
Yeah.
I think I had like an iPod Nano. What was like it was the little one that had the screen.
I think that was the Nano.
The Nano?
I had one of those.
Yeah, I remember we all got those for Christmas one year, but that's actually something I've never thought of, like physical, digital libraries of things.
Yeah, because like, it's nice to listen to like your records or whatever when you're home. But if you want to, bring your music with you out when you're out on the go. And like cassette players is cool, but it's not practical to always bring that with you and bring several cassettes.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why it's not the main thing these days.
Yeah.
Imagine bringing your like a vinyl record player with you, just strapping it to your back and just putting on some headphones.
Oh my God, just a big vinyl record backpack. That'd be kind of cool if that does exist, but
I wonder if it does. That'd be awesome.
That's something I'm trying to get into.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, you know me, I'm a physical collector when it comes to video games.
Of course.
Usually, if a game has a physical release, I'm gonna get that over a digital, even if I have to wait a while to get it.
Yeah.
That's something I'll definitely jump on. So I think the first thing to really go into is like, why did we start collecting physical? I feel like we might have some similar reasons, and we've had some smaller conversations about this topic in the past. But I think the general notion of like, it's our duty to preserve what we can, just because the people before us didn't really have the didn't really have that thought process of holding on to things so people in the future can enjoy. And I feel like that's kind of what jump started collecting physical games like I do now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that had any spark in your physical collecting journey.
think it's mostly just like wanting to own the things I enjoy, the things I love, and I don't know. I feel like video games, the sense of like owning games has changed so much. Like the idea of like looking through a physical library and choosing a game versus like a digital library. It's like where you just have too much choice.
That's
Get what
something.
I'm
Yeah.
getting at there, and I don't know. I just like having physical things. Sometimes they're so cool looking, like special editions of games and stuff.
Yes, and I feel like they do a lot of cool things with records, like
records
doing different colors and stuff like that.
There's some crazy. There's ones that have like liquid inside now. I've seen, which is
really
nice. Yeah.
How does that even work?
I don't know. It's like you wouldn't think there'd be any space in the middle of the record, but somehow it's like there's space that they could put some kind of liquid in.
That's
and it's
wild.
Like a clear.
I'm gonna look that up. Yeah, that sense of having almost too much choice when it comes to your collection. Like I keep looking at the games behind me, and I mean in terms of game collections, I feel like this is fairly small. I'm kind of on a journey of
much more than I have for sure, but
but I'm kind of on a journey of recollecting some of my childhood as well, especially in like the GameCube library. Like a lot of my GameCube games that I had when I was younger have made it out the door, been sold to GameStop, to friends and stuff like that, and now it's like almost rebuilding what I had before and rebuilding my childhood. But like it's a smaller collection, and coming down here to play a game, it's nice to look at a bunch of spines of cases and be like, all right, this is what I have to play. Mm-hmm. I feel like when you're given that like option, and this is one of my issues with like my Steam library, is I add so many games to my Steam, or I guess I used to add so many games to my Steam library. If they're on sale, I'd be like, oh, I want to play this eventually. Let me pick it up. That it kind of tends to lead to me buying the game, forgetting I own it, and then never wanted to play it in the first place. But like when I buy my physical game, when I picked up, let's see, Metroid Prime, or I'm trying to think of like something that I picked up a little bit more recently. But when I pick it up and I bring it home from wherever I'm coming from, whether it's a convention or a store, and I see it sitting there, like that gives me the incentive to play it. I don't know if like you're listening to music that maybe you wouldn't have listened to if you didn't buy physical.
Not really. 'Cause I feel like I'm most often buying music that I already like am a fan of.
Right. Okay, that's fair.
But with video games, I feel like it's you definitely have more of an incentive to play it if you have it physically, right?
Yeah.
Especially just having it like in your space, like you see it more often.
The guilt like, comes in.
Yeah, it's like I bought this physical thing. I gotta put it to use. Whereas if it's just in a digital library, you like never even see it. You forget about it.
Yeah. I mean, think about how many songs that we listen to like on Spotify, and it's like you hear it and you're like, oh, dude, this song is awesome. And then the second you're done listening to it for that day, it's gone. You don't remember the name, and it maybe in a year or so it pops up. I feel like with games, like when I have that Steam library, or even buying games digitally on consoles, which I don't tend to do unless that's my only option, like they just get lost. Like it's sometimes I forget I even own them. I forgot that I purchased them, and without that reminder, I just never go back to them.
Yeah, definitely. Like when I look through like all my old games, Game Boy, GameCube, PlayStation, it's like I played almost all of them because I physically had them, and this was like the limited numbers of games I had.
Yeah,
and I couldn't just like I wasn't just buying new games constantly for cheap that I was kind of interested in, but I never ended up playing.
Yeah,
just building up a library that was never used.
And it's almost gotten easier to to get games that you don't play just because of the free aspect, like free to play, or online games tend to go on sale a lot more often than physical copies do. And music you could obviously add to your playlists for free, basically on Spotify if you're paying for it. But back then, we were kids at the time, convincing our parents to buy this game for us. It was like, all right, I got it. I have to play it. Like, mom and dad bought this for me. Now I got to go home and play it. Like, I finally got, like, it felt like a golden ticket in Charlie and Chocolate Factory. Like, I finally got one. I finally got a game.
Mm-hmm. You only got a few a year. You really treasured it more.
Yeah. And thinking about it now, that mindset, I think, led me to replay a lot of games that I got.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, I've had games that when I was younger, the second I beat it and the story wrapped up, the credits rolled, like, me and my brother Eric looked at each other and were like, do you want to do it again? And we would just restart the game. Like, nowadays, too many options. Once you finish one, it's like, what's next?
I got a long list I got to get through, and I feel like that makes it less enjoyable, because sometimes it feels like I'm playing a game to get through it and check it off my list.
Yeah. Do you ever feel that way with music? Like, do you ever feel like you're listening to an album just because, like, maybe it's an artist that you like and listen to often, but like you listen to an album just to be like, all right, I want to listen to it so I can hear all their music.
Yeah, sometimes definitely. Like I like to go chronologically. Like I'll discover them through like a song or an album that's maybe not their first one, but then I'll go like, I listen to their first and second. And sometimes it's like not great, but I listen to it anyway.
Yeah.
Also, I think with music, sometimes I'll end up listening to the same things over and over again. But there's like albums out there I want to listen to that I never get to, and artists I've heard are great that I haven't.
Yeah, I mean that's the downside. I feel like of exactly what we were just talking about before, is like re-listening to a lot of music, and obviously you listen to songs multiple times in your lifetime, more than you play one game.
Yeah.
But bring this back to the game topic, like replaying the games maybe led to me not discovering some games that I would have liked.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, there's a lot of mainstream series that I totally missed the train on, didn't hop on. Like, I haven't played a lot of the Legend of Zelda games. Resident Evil. Like,
yeah, Resident Evil, I played through all those a few years ago, and that was a lot of fun. But I was actually just thinking about that the other day, like, what series have I not played that kind of look interesting to me that I want to play through? And right now we're playing through the Metroid games together, and that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There's so many other franchises. I mean, I just finished watching the second season of Fallout the other day.
Oh, how was it?
It was great. The show is so good, but I've played Fallout 4 a little bit. I never really got into it, but the show makes me want to play through the whole series, even the old ones that weren't like pre-Bethesda Fallout games.
Yeah, I'm such a, like, if I'm playing the series, I have to start with the first one. Yeah. Like, I'm so bad with that. Like, I know it sounds like an obvious choice, but like there's some series where you can pick up whenever. Legend of Zelda is a great example, actually. Like, if I wanted to, I could start with Breath of the Wild, but I want to start with the first one on NES and work my way through all the generations. I want to experience it the way people experienced it as it was coming out, rather than just jumping to what everybody's talking about currently.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Yeah.
'Cause, like, sometimes I feel like devs will be like, all right, this will be a great entry in the franchise for new people to get into, and it's like that never resonates with me, because I'm like, I want to play the first.
Yeah.
First, you know.
And
like
with remasters
jumping
too.
In the middle is like, yeah, remasters are actually great for that.
Yeah. It's like, remasters are a great way to bring people into series, but also I'm the kind of person that I almost don't want to play a remaster or buy a remaster before I play whatever they're remastering. Like, I want to experience it in its most raw form. And
yeah,
it stinks, because sometimes the remaster is the cheaper way to get into the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're looking at a lot of GameCube games that are getting remastered, like Wind Waker goes up, $100-ish,
Yeah.
and Wind Waker HD remakes you could probably get for $40-50 cheaper, which is another like almost thorn in the side when it comes to collecting physical. Is wanting to play the original game sometimes isn't your cheapest option, and it's gonna hurt your wallet a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, actually, bring that back to Resident Evil. The first 3 games, 1, 2, and 3, I haven't played the originals. I've only played the remastered versions.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the original versions are on PC, which is why I played them all on. But I think I definitely want to try to get those for the old consoles and play them again.
Yeah, and
in the original form.
I hear some of them, or at least Resident Evil 4. I hear a lot of people say that the OG version of that game is better than the remake.
Really?
That's what some people were saying.
I haven't played the remake. I do want to play it. But controversial take, I did not like 4. I know it's a lot of people's favorites, but I didn't like it.
You didn't
much.
like?
No.
And you played the remake, right? Of 4, of
Not
course.
the remake of 4, no.
You played the original.
I played the original of 4.
Really?
And I didn't really like it.
That's fair. That's fair.
I don't know. It felt clunky. It was a different setting and kind of a new story that finished with the 3rd game, right? So I feel like I didn't like the setting as much, and I don't know. It just felt different. Not the same. Not what I was expecting after the first 3 games.
That makes me want to play it more. Like I want to. The fact that your opinion differs so, I feel like Resident Evil 4 is one of those games that like I don't know if I've met somebody who said it wasn't good, but you saying that you didn't enjoy it that much, I feel like maybe it's not like the golden goose egg of video games that I think it is.
I don't know.
Maybe
I want to play the remake to see if that changes my opinion, because I feel like maybe just it didn't play that well as an older game, and that's maybe part of what turned me off from it. So maybe as a more modernized version of it, I might enjoy more. Because like the Resident Evil 2 remake, I mean, the way they, I guess, modernized the gameplay of it was fantastic. That's probably one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah. Oh. And did you play like 7 and stuff like that?
7 was great. 7 and 8, yeah.
Yeah. Those look terrifying. I don't know if I could.
There's a VR version of Resident Evil 7.
Oh, hell no.
But it's only PlayStation VR. So I haven't been able to play it, but I want to so bad. It's kind of terrifying.
I would crap my pants.
Yeah.
I would not be able to do that. I was falling all over my room when I was playing Five Nights at Freddy's VR, and Resident Evil is way scarier than that.
Yeah.
So I mean, with remasters coming out and sometimes just re-releases, usually those are digital. Like very recently, Pokemon just announced that they're re-releasing those re-releasing Fire Red, Leaf Green on the Switch.
Right.
Do you feel like when you're collecting physical that, and this is gonna be a personal opinion, that if it's a re-release of the content and they do a physical release of the re-release, do you feel satisfied if you just own that newer re-released content, or do you feel like the urge to go back and pick up the OG media?
I think it depends on the game. If it's like a game I really like, then I would definitely want the OG. And I think it depends, like, if I have like a collection of like whatever console that OG is from, it's like, well, I might as well add it to my collection. But
right.
If it's just, I don't know. I think it depends on the game, but overall, I would say I probably would want the original.
The original, yeah. That's how I am too, and my stubbornness with it is very, very bad. Like I've had friends recommend Chrono Trigger to me so many times. I know it's a great game, and I know I got to get on it, but I'm sitting there talking to them like, yeah, I'll get it. It's $200 right now. Don't worry. Like, I'll get it, but I gotta wait for the right time. When like they're playing it digitally, it's on Steam maybe, I think. But like owning the original cartridge to me is very special. And when it comes to like re-releases, I keep going back to Metroid just because that's what's hot on my mind right now. That's what I'm playing. Like, I don't think I have any interest in owning Metroid Prime Remastered for the Switch, just because the OG, owning that OG media just fills that entire hole for me. Like I don't need anything more from that title. I'd rather something brand new. But like when
you wouldn't even want it just for the collection to have every game, even if it is a re-release.
Maybe, but like that. If I'm gonna buy all the Metroid games, that's gonna be the very last thing that I pick up.
Okay.
But I think that changes when remakes come out rather than remasters. Gotcha. Like Metroid Prime Remastered, not that like I don't really see any value in me picking it up if I own the original Metroid Prime for GameCube. But if they took, let's say they took Metroid Fusion and they remade it, and it was like Metroid Dread style, where like the 3D graphics, it's still a 2D game, but 3D graphics and high res textures instead of like the pixel art. Like I would pick that up. Like they've remade.
Yeah, I mean it's different enough that it's a new game.
Yeah, and like and this is something that we can both speak on, is we both beat the original Metroid on NES, and then we both beat Zero Mission, which Zero Mission is a remake of Metroid 1, and they both definitely add different values to my collection rather than just feeling like the same thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and like that might be a reason why like my newer video game library, like my Switch library, isn't as big as a lot of people. Like I feel like everybody's Switch library, it's Metroid Remastered, then it's Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, the re-release on Switch, Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, there have been a lot of like re-releases and like HD updates.
Right. And like that stuff I feel like just doesn't have too much value to me, at least when it comes to my collection.
Yeah, definitely. My main video game collection is the Halo games.
Yeah, and you're big on that.
So when I always wanted to, like, there's the Legendary Edition. There's like, for Halo 3 and Reach, there was like the base game, then there's the Collector's Edition, then there's the Legendary Edition. And the Halo 3 Legendary Edition came with like Master Chief's helmet on this stand that you could put games in. Like, I always wanted that. So once I got my first job and I saved up money, I was like, I'm going to start buying this Halo stuff. So that's kind of where like collecting began for me. And for the Halo games, I want to own like every version of each game that I can.
Yeah, the other day you bought like a weird version.
Well, the version of Halo 1 I had was like, it was like best of platinum hits, so like the cases looks different. Mm-hmm. But I found like an OG copy of the game.
Yeah, and then you got like a demo disc, right?
I got a demo disc that has a demo of Halo 1 on it. There's like there's a Japanese version of the game that has a different cover art I want to get.
That's awesome. I feel like one of these days I gotta either bring the camera to you or tell you to bring your Halo collection over, because I want to see all that stuff that you're talking about, like the collector's edition and stuff, all that lined up. Like I feel like that's so much, so much history. Good segue here actually, because you were talking about how you started collecting Halo stuff. What do you think is like a good tip for people collecting their first form of physical media? Whether it's I mean, this is a video game based podcast, but whether it's video games, music, it could be DVDs, anything like that. What's a good tip when they're getting started?
Well, I think one, go to physical stores, go to a local game store or record store or whatever, and just browse. Like, I mean, look for things that you know you like, and also just look for things that you like think look interesting. I think when looking for a record, especially, it's just I like to look for like an interesting looking cover. Like I might not know who the artist is or what the genre is or whatever, but like if that catches me, just I'll add it to my collection if it's not that expensive.
Yeah.
So just I don't know, be open to. You kind of have to figure out like what works for you, like how you want to collect things, right?
Yeah.
So I think just going into a space that has going to a store and like looking at different things will kind of give you a good idea of that. And yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I totally agree with like the physical store aspect. Even if it's a new game, go out and buy it from your local game store first of all. But if that's not an option, GameStop, Best Buy, any of those, I feel like getting out to the store and picking up something, first of all, keeps that alive. If they see people going to the stores and buying things, we won't have the whole Amazon takeover where everyone sits in the house and whatever they want shows up on their doorstep. But going to physical stores, kind of like what you were saying, it puts the options in front of you. It might have you discovering things that you didn't know existed.
Yeah.
Or when you're first starting off, and like if you're doing a video game collection, if you're starting from nothing and you ask somebody, hey, what should I add to my collection first? They might say, Ocarina of Time, Mario 64, go out and buy an NES. Like, if you have your scope so narrow in the beginning, and then and you can't find, I mean, all three of those things you could probably find pretty easily. But if you can't find that first thing that you're fixated on, it might diminish like your confidence in collecting almost. It might kind of make you feel like, wow, this is a lot harder than I thought it was. I don't think I want to do this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So with that said, I think going to a game store, I like starting my collection off with like a handful of games. When I first started, I had stuff from my childhood, but my real collection started was when I got the SNES, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of going out and buying like the big hitters like Super Mario World, which not a crazy expensive game, or Super Metroid's maybe $70-$80. I went out and got 5 cheap games, and like
That's a good way to do it.
It jumpstarts the collection. You have a collection. You don't just have one game.
Mm-hmm. You might find something that you had no interest in getting, but you got it because it was cheap, and maybe you love it, and maybe it's part of a series, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna start collecting games in this series.
Yeah,
you'll just find something. You're like, I like that, and you stick with you collecting all the Metroid games.
Yeah,
it's like, this is something that's interested me. I'm like, I want to play through these games, so you're collecting the whole series and starting from the original.
Mm-hmm. And like once you have that jumpstart, your first 5 games, and they could quite literally be $5 games if you're going for like a NES, SNES collection. Get those $5-$10 games, and then once you have those first 5, then go out and buy something that maybe you have your eyes on,
mm-hmm.
or it gives you that room to hunt whatever you're hunting. If you're looking for a specific game, you don't have to worry about, all right, if I don't find this, I have no collection. Like you still have that collection at home that you jump started with your first couple of games.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can go out and kind of hunt that. But this is also, if you want to go against my advice, go ahead. Like I there's nothing wrong with that. There is no right way to do it. I'm just saying from experience.
Yeah, I mean, I think just going for like the big games from a console is not a bad way to go either. I mean, like, especially if it's a console you had as a child, and it's like, get those games that you remember playing, play them again on the original console, and maybe that'll inspire you to want to play, get more games that you haven't played that you wanted as a child, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, this is the example I used before, like Mario 64, Ocarina of Time. Like those are games that are still talked about today.
Mm-hmm.
Picking those up could very well inspire you to dig deeper into the console. Like you start on the surface and then dig deeper below that. That's definitely a way to go about it too. When it comes to collecting music, you started with records or cassettes.
Yeah, records.
Did you find yourself going out and buying a couple different records, like right when you got your record player, or did you own records before that, or how'd you go about it?
Well, actually, the first records I owned, I bought. It was, I think, like a 20th anniversary, like collector's edition of Cowboy Bebop, like
awesome.
on Blu-ray, and the collector's edition came with the soundtrack on vinyl records. So I had that before I had the record player. And then when I actually got the record player, I think when I started, I actually bought a few online that like I knew I was a fan of.
Right.
But then whenever I have the chance to like go to a record store, I'll look for things, either things that I know I like, and also I like to look at genres that like I like, and I'll just pick something randomly out of there.
I feel like there is something magical about not knowing what's on the record before you listen to it.
Yeah, definitely. Like I was at that Vintage Fest last month, like a month ago. There was a little 7-inch record, had a really interesting looking cover. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna buy this.
Do you have a player that can play it?
Yeah. A 7. So there's like regular ones are 12 inches, and then there's 7 inches, which are sometimes called singles, and a regular record player can play both.
They're compatible. Okay, that's really cool. Yeah. I think in the beginning as well, there's definitely chances for you to spread yourself too thin, and this is contradicting kind of the advice I was saying before, but like one of the mistakes I think I made when I started collecting was I got the SNES. I always had the N64 and my GameCube, and then I found myself shopping around too much, and I felt like I had to justify my purchases of each of the consoles and feed those collections separately. I think the mindset of it's one big collection, especially when it comes to video games, because an NES cartridge looks way different from an N64 cartridge. It could really get you feeling like, oh, my N64 collection is lacking. Let me get on that and buy games. When you start off, treat it as one big collection, even if you have one PS2 game, 2 N64 games, and an NES cartridge. That's a game collection, not a collection of NES, a collection of N64, and a collection of PS2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like that a little bit now, because I'm getting vinyl records, I'm getting cassettes and CDs. So I'm like, oh god, I don't want to like, because I also feel like I'm going to end up with like every record on like each format. It's like, I'm going to end up like collecting too much, if that makes sense. And like, I don't know. I'm trying to focus mainly on the vinyl records and then the digital collection as well.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing, having the same album in different formats. Like, do you feel like, because our conversation before on like the remasters and remakes, is it the same with music? Like, if you have something on record, on vinyl, and then you see it on cassette, like, do you feel less of an urge to buy it, or is it kind of like completes it?
Yeah, if it's one of my like favorite albums, I do want to have it on like each format. I think there's something cool about that.
Yeah,
having just like lining it up, having like a cassette, CD, vinyl record, maybe even an 8-track if you could find an 8-track.
That's all.
Something.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
It'd just be cool to have that,
like a shrine, almost,
for like my favorite records. just for records I enjoy in general, I probably just want to have them mainly on vinyl.
Hmm. And it's very interesting with music. I mean, this happens with games too, but like when you're buying physical music, it's almost like you can listen to it elsewhere for basically no cost. It's kind of like showing your appreciation for the music, but like for the game, like or for game collecting, people tend to emulate and stuff like that. Um, but when you're buying the music, like if I'm buying an old retro game, say I'm buying a some sort of NES game, Nintendo has no idea that I'm buying a game from a local game store and putting it on the shelf. But like I feel like with music, I don't know what's one of your favorite bands.
The Rolling Stones.
Yeah, so like if you have a Rolling Stone like shrine almost of the record, the CD, the cassette, like it's almost like stands as like a decoration in your room rather
Yeah.
than just buying the actual media to use it.
Yeah, it's also, even if you don't listen to the music on that format, it's a way to support the artist, especially in the age of streaming, where they're not making any money off of that, and it's also difficult to make money off of touring too.
Yeah.
So buying their music, I think I read recently like a pretty good percentage of the amount of people who buy vinyl records don't even have a record player.
Really?
Yeah, like something crazy like 40%,
Hmm.
which is pretty nuts. But like, it's a way for them to have a collection of music from their favorite artist and support the artist
Yeah.
financially.
And vinyl records look way cooler, like if you frame them and like put them on a wall than like a video game. I feel like,
Yeah,
if I bought something, if I bought like an NES cartridge and put it on a frame in a wall, people would be like, "What the hell is that? Like, why'd you do that? Is that a rare game?" But like a vinyl, displaying it is almost more than half of the value of it.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
feel like.
the album covers are a piece of art. With video games, not so much. I mean, some games have cool cover art, but
Yeah, and unless it's like something super rare or
yeah,
like a collector's edition of sorts, like you don't get that value from games.
yeah, definitely.
When it comes to records, I don't know if people care about it that much, but like video games in the video game world, like CIB collecting, complete in box. Is there an equivalent in the record world? Like, do people care about that kind of stuff?
Um, I'm not really sure. I mean, I don't think it's gotta be pretty rare to have like original records, like original old pressings that are still in the like shrink wrap.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that matters all that much. I mean, you can definitely buy. I think it's easy to get your hands on like sealed copies of newer pressings
Yeah.
if you care about having something like that. I mean, there is like, I mean, records deteriorate over time, so there's definitely like sort of ratings to that, and some people will definitely want like mint or near mint
Yeah.
condition to have like the best quality sound off of it. That's probably the closest thing. I mean,
I didn't even think about like the deteriorating, like it loses value like as like they an older record only has such a like a short lifespan. Like you might buy something from the 70s or 80s that has been used, and it's like buying it. Do I want to use it? Like, do I want to use this last bit of life left that this thing has, or do I want to just hold on to it?
Yeah.
When it comes to CIB in the video game world, I'm someone who is hit or miss with that stuff. For cartridge games, I don't need CIB. I don't even really need that much of a clean label on those games. But when it comes to anything disc or modern, like CIB is all I is all I get, or at least the case. But I know a lot of people who are going out collecting NES, SNES, doing CIB completed box. I don't know about mint. It's hard to get mint cartridge games nowadays, but I don't know. Just that part of the collecting didn't appeal to me. I think mostly because I collect to play.
Yeah,
I don't collect to collect.
If you want to like create a display, like a museum, I can see that. But yeah, the CIB doesn't really matter to me. The Halo 3 Legendary Edition that I bought, it had a sticker on it that was like not to be sold before this date. So it was like,
Really?
yeah,
That's awesome.
So and like I didn't even know that had it when I bought it, but I was like, do I want to like cut it open? I didn't cut the sticker, but I kind of peeled it off.
Yeah.
But like I bought it to open it up to have that thing on display, the helmet. So I don't care that much about CIB. I think it depends.
Oh, hello.
Got a guest on the podcast.
Yeah, my dog is here.
What's up, Macy?
Hello, Macy. Special guest.
Yeah, I think with my Halo collection, I think if I ever come across like a sealed version of Halo 1, it might be...
Oh my god. Get out of here.
What do you want?
Do you have anything to say about collecting video games?
I think I might pick it up if it's not too expensive, just for that collection. But in general, I don't care to have something like that.
Right. My thing is like I try not to. I'm conscious about it now that I try not to buy boxed items. Like at one of my local game stores, when I bought the Genesis, he had it CIB with the copy of Sonic and Knuckles in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked in, I was like, "Hey, dude, I'm looking for a Genesis. What do you got?" And like he pulled that down. I was like, "Ah, man, like I don't want to buy that from you because I don't want to take that away from somebody who's going to enjoy it."
Yeah, exactly.
Like I feel guilty buying it and then not treating it how someone who would enjoy it treats it.
Mm-hmm.
So he was really, really cool. And he actually took it out of the box and was like, "I'll sell you the console separately. I'll hold on to the box and I'll fill it at a different time with another Genesis." I don't think the Genesis that's inside that box is specifically themed in any way, but it was a really cool thing for him to do.
Yeah.
But now when I'm going in stores and I see a game that I really want for the collection, if it's a DS game, I'll pass on buying, Sebi in case, just because I don't want to take that opportunity away from somebody else. Also, the price tends to be very different when it comes to CIB cartridge games, and
it's not a lot cheaper.
Yeah,
might as well. Especially these older games, because they were in like cardboard or more like papery boxes.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty beat up.
Yeah,
a lot of the times.
And I mean the artwork on them is awesome, and sometimes most of the time better than modern cases. But it's like so hard to preserve that. Like even just it being in a room could be damaging it. Like if the room is too hot, too cold, too...
I would feel like there's a responsibility to maintain it.
Yeah, and like...
have it in the right conditions.
Even a little bit of humidity could ruin it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I just kind of grab cartridges off shelf, like messed up labels. I think a lot of my games here, like... I don't know if I have it up front here, but like my Super Metroid, I got it... I think it was like $50 when I got it because the label's ripped. I don't really care. I'll keep the label on if there's any remnant of it, but I'm also not against relabeling things that have completely lost their labels.
Yeah.
Speaking of, both of these Game Boy Advance games, Metroid Zero Mission and Kirby Dream Land,
those are relabeled?
Yeah, they lost. I mean, these are both games that I owned when I was a kid. Both their labels were completely off. They're gone. They're blank cartridges. So I ordered some labels online, which I would never sell these games to somebody and not tell them, hey, these are reproduction labels. But for my own collection, I think they look better with the reproduction labels, and they don't lose any value to me when I put that on.
Mm-hmm.
But
if you don't care too much about like that, I would say like if you want to like save money, go for the cheaper option if the label's a little damaged, and then if you end up like loving the game, maybe you can invest in a better copy of it.
yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Like a lot of my cartridges, like especially N64, have beat up labels. If you buy a game, you could always resell that copy.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it's Mario 64, if it has a washed out label and is ripped, buy it, enjoy it. You're like, wow, I really like this game. I want to have that good copy. Just resell the one that you bought,
mm-hmm.
and then buy a fresh one. Yeah. I feel like that kind of wraps up everything I have to say about collecting physical. I encourage everybody at home to at least looking into it. Buy physical games when you can. Go to physical stores when you can, especially smaller game stores, record stores. You don't really see DVD stores around here anymore, no. But if you're a DVD collector, buy from those stores and buy from people that are already in the hobby on Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that. But
here's a little tip for people want to collect. Like look online for like events that are happening in your area that have like vintage sellers and stuff.
Yeah.
The one I went to recently had a ton of vintage vendors. There was a lot of old games there. It's definitely a good resource.
Absolutely, yeah. And like the Facebook
Marketplace.
There's some other ones like I think there's one called like Let Go or whatever.
Yeah.
eBay has kind of lost a little bit of credibility nowadays. Not credibility, but like more people are kind of
scamming,
but like, well, games they're making fake games, fake cartridges, a lot of the Pokemon games,
true,
but
yeah.
like, I mean this in the best way, but people are realizing what they have. Like people are digging out their kids' old games, and it's not going out for a garage sale anymore and being like, I'll give you the NES and these 30 games we have for $60. Now it's people are finding an NES. It's like they're looking it up. This is worth $80 on its own. Let me sell that. Oh, this one game is now $40. Let me sell that separately. But see if you could strike up a deal with people on Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I actually, that's how I got my TV when I originally started collecting. I realized the games look rough on these HD TVs. I had it plugged into the TV in my room.
Mm-hmm.
But we found this TV. It was on Marketplace, $100. The guy just wanted to get it out of his house. I think maybe it was his grandmother's, but like, don't jump on the item right when you see it. The deal will come to you.
Actually, talking about the TVs, that's something I actually thought about collecting.
TVs?
I mean, one day when I have my own house, I think it'd be really cool to have like a wall of old TVs all like stacked up on top of each other.
That would be sick.
And like, it'd be cool to somehow configure it so you have like one big like image or something, like art piece, like displayed across all the monitors.
Yeah.
So maybe one day I kind of want to collect old TVs.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
I love old electronics in general. Like maybe like getting old computers as well. Something I'm kind of interested in.
Yeah.
I can kind of. I'm fascinated by so many things. I end up wanting to like collect so many things, but like I don't have the space or money for that.
Right. Yeah. That's another good tip is
space.
Stay small. Stay small and don't collect everything. Collect. Like almost narrow your scope into like if it's video games, maybe collect for a certain console.
Yeah, definitely.
If it's music, maybe collect for a certain genre or a certain band, something like that. Instead of being like, I want to collect DVDs, I want to collect video games, I want to collect music. Narrowing your scope kind of help keep you from spreading yourself too thin again.
Yeah, back to when I got my first job, I started making money. First, I was buying the Halo games, like the collector's edition. Then I was getting other Halo collectibles, statues and stuff, figures. Then I was getting like stuff for other like video games and stuff. And I started getting into sneakers. I'm like, oh my god, I'm spending my whole paycheck on this stuff.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
I've kind of picked like a couple of things that like I want to focus on. That's like the Halo stuff and then the music. For now, I'm just gonna kind of focus on those collections.
Yeah.
Not to spread myself too thin.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So I think I feel like we might have more to say about this in the future. The more we think about it and talk about it, which maybe that will prompt a second episode of us talking about this kind of thing. But I think I've completely emptied out my brain on everything that I want to say about this. Like I was saying before, I encourage everybody who's watching, collect physical, buy physical. If it's something that's in your budget, but especially new games, it doesn't cost any more to go get a physical game usually, and it kind of preserves the history of the future of gaming,
Absolutely,
and music. Well, thank you so much for joining me again. I'm sure you'll be back
eventually.
eventually.
Having me.
Yeah, of course. If you enjoy our kind of content here, go check us out on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, where we post a whole bunch of fun, shorter content. And then always check back on Spotify, or if you're watching this on YouTube, for more full-length episodes of the ButtonPress podcast. Soon, I'm going to try and figure out how to get all this onto Apple Podcast. I haven't really figured that out yet. Every time I try to do it, I fail. But eventually I'll get there. But for right now, Spotify and YouTube is where you can listen to this. But I think that is everything. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.
Peace.